Hey gang, we are in Chicago, actually going right by Bohemian National Cemetery, and we're actually going to turn down a street called Bryn Mawr here. And this is an area I grew up in, which is kind of like on a spontaneous mission today. We're with one of our viewers and subscribers. His name is Britton, and he's got some background here on an abandoned cemetery that is in the woods, but there's been some new developments here by developers, and it may be that they have encroached and supposedly graves were moved. Who knows? But we're just gonna be spontaneous and explore a little adventure here, and Britton knows a lot more about it, so I'll turn it back on once we get right down the street here. All right, gang, we are here with Britton. Britton has got his shirt on, Face of the Forgotten, one of our viewers. And Britton, Britton knows all about the story here. Oh, you got a trowel and a little broom, beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, let's go check this out. So we're on the backside of LaBagh Woods here, pretty much.
And this is called the Weber Spur.
The Weber Spur, is this like a bike trail?
It's a bike trail now, but it used to be a Union Pacific rail line.
Okay.
That ran along the western boundary of the city.
Okay.
On a 1870s to 1920s.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Look at
these
this.
Were all the old tracks.
This is the old rail line, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, cool.
And we are, like you were saying, right in our nest, kind of. I know you were raised around here.
Right.
I was raised a few miles south.
Right.
This was always kind of the forest preserve for family outings and stuff.
Right.
And little did I know what we had hiding right here under our nose. Right here, sir.
Yeah. So it's, oh wow, it's right in here, huh?
Yeah.
So we got a little trail going on off the rail spur. Now, where are these houses you were talking about? Is that this way?
We've got two homes right here. You can even see. You think we're looking at
a
garage or something. You only got two on this side.
And you said there's gravestones? Yeah, that's like
gravestones that I haven't found, but that I know.
Okay.
The same gentleman that showed me.
But you said that the cemetery used to extend back over this way, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got
a
lot of traffic here, a lot of people coming through here, which is great.
And no one knows.
No one knows there's a cemetery back here. Well, let's go in.
I can't say no one, but yeah, here goes. Let's prepare.
All right, here we go. We're going in.
Now, the skeeters have kind of subsided, but the poison ivy we got to watch out for.
Okay, well, it's good we wore pants today. All right, thank you. Got it. Oh, I see. Yeah, look at this. So there's a fence here.
Yeah. I have documented and covered the entire fence line all the way down to where the houses start. And there are three different breaches. This one, the most accessible.
So let me orient again. So as we turn around back here, we've got houses. Then we've got the old rail line. Whose property is this right here?
Forest Preserve.
So this is Forest Preserve.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so everything's cool. All right, let's go through there.
And this was an old cemetery. We have the St. Lucas and the Montrose Cemetery. Back in the day, there was cemetery number 3 that was privately owned. I have not been able to dig up any names on it.
Okay.
But watch this right here, sir. This will hook you.
All right, thank you, sir.
But yeah, this was a privately owned cemetery.
Okay.
That the owner was making his money off of Union. I can't remember the name of the union, but one of these headstones that we find will have all the abbreviations on it. It was like a cable car riders union. Here's our first evidence, though. Now, just a few of these square ones I found.
Oh, look at that.
Thousands of these, though, these circular ones.
Oh my gosh, look at that. These are grave markers. Now, do you think they were thrown here? No, those look like they're set.
Yeah.
Although this looks like a drainage right here.
And it was swamp.
Yeah, that is definitely.
Supposedly, at least 2 or 3 months out of the year, you get about a foot worth of water, which when I read that, the person who wrote it, that was like 10 or 15 years ago.
Right.
A lot of this is really drying up, and there's a big effort.
Oh, I see a gravestone over there.
Yeah, no, this is where it starts.
Let's check it out.
The family, though, they were making money off of this union, burying people tied into this union, and they were making money off of paupers' graves.
By selling?
The tuberculosis center over there.
Oh, I remember.
Just a hop, skip,
big,
and a jump.
Right.
Yeah, let's remember where we are, sir. We got Peterson Park right across Pulaski.
Right.
And the TB. Now, I had always heard that the TB, they would burn the bodies.
Oh,
you know,
at the
got
TB?
that big,
Yeah.
like clock tower structure there, which is connected to a
No
crematorium.
kidding. No kidding. I never knew that.
According to one of the people who told me about this place.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, some paupers' graves. And the city paying him for the paupers' graves kept him afloat until they closed that TB clinic in the 50s.
So when you say paying for the pauper's grave, it's the land. He was selling the land where they were buried.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It starts to get dense, so.
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay. Like I was saying, I have surveyed all the way down, like south to where they
So
end.
those look like plot section markers.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
And I'm guessing like that right there was just thrown away in 78. Just
700
or
something.
700 something. So that just got discarded back here.
Yeah.
So
and
do you
as
think do you think people are buried here, or do you think this is a refuse area for gravestones?
I most definitely feel people are buried back here.
Okay.
Most
Because you wouldn't have so many section markers together unless you're throwing them away, like these two here.
Yeah, and that's what I was told. And these are, this is 1971 or 13,
Yeah,
1371,
those aren't even close.
1372,
Oh,
and they're
okay.
really close to each other.
Yeah.
Someone
Well,
that
who
I've talked
knows?
to, well,
But
I
look
got
at
contradicting.
But there's a whole bunch of them here. Those are usually spread out more.
Yeah.
Let's go look at that gravestone.
The contradicting kind of tale to these markers I got is that they're not
Oh my
grave
gosh.
markers, that they're
There's
area
a
markers.
bunch of them back here.
Yeah.
You know what? These look like discarded.
Yeah.
I don't know if these are. This is really sad. Look at
Discarded
this.
perhaps, but now we have foundation of a headstone most likely.
Oh yeah.
So
So we could have people buried here, but look at this, guys. This is
and like
really
from here going south, they're pretty much just discarded.
upside down. So 1882 to 1923 is 40s.
Almost all of them, the people perished between 1920 and 1930.
Okay.
Which, if we think about it, not too long ago, especially if it comes down to hunting down a next of kin or somebody who is.
Oh,
more
this is
entitled
terrible.
to this.
The way these gravestones, they're not lined up. It looks like, I'm going to tell you something. My guess is whoever took the land just threw these gravestones in here like willy-nilly.
Absolutely.
Look at this.
Poltergeist.
This is yeah, poltergeist.
And if you look
we
right
don't
here
know.
to your left, sir, it's a house. It's a house that was built in 1998.
Oh my gosh, this is terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a refuse area for these people's markers.
Yeah. There's
Look at this.
everywhere.
Just-
Some very nice granite ones, very nice marble.
Wow, this is Adam Shepler, it looks like. 1920.
1923, 1863, 1923.
Yeah.
60 years of age. Rest in
Oh my
peace.
gosh, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Right. Now, you can see that the concrete foundation was
unearthed.
ripped out too.
Yeah.
This appears to me like, well, don't know. There could be bodies here because here's a foundation.
Yeah.
And it's just been vandalized and, oh, this is so sad. This is
Right under our
This
noses.
is reprehensible,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Thank you. We have Hagop Kirsten, died October 12th.
Kirishian.
Kirishian.
Yeah, that's Armenian name.
1922. Rest in peace. Ironically, it says rest in peace. And look at this, everybody. This is terrible. Just thrown away. I see. Let's just take a quick look over here. I mean, We got houses right here. Now, did the graveyard extend where those houses were? That's what you're saying? Yeah, so whoever built these houses...
Sir, honestly, I think the graveyard extended all the way to Montrose Cemeteries back wall there.
Oh my gosh.
You know?
So, well, you just wonder why these gravestones are just thrown back here. Well, it's probably it could be a combination of graves that are still here and then refuse, because those sectional markers, they're all just like refuse, because there's so many. I can just see so many back here. Nicholas, oh my gosh, these people. This is really crazy. There's a whole bunch more back there.
Yeah. And when I was back here a few weeks ago, there was water back there. And if we look at some of the foliage, you can see like the cattails and like swamp.
Right. Oh, there's some big markers
back
back here. Look at this, guys.
I'd really like to see what this one says. This one's a nice one. And now looking at this, if this was picked up and discarded, you know, this just looks literally like the marble rolled off of here, and it's just...
Yeah, this is one of these big granite circular cylinders, it looks like.
Yeah, I couldn't make anything off of it, though.
Well, this isn't just a few graves. This is crazy.
And here we go. We've got
there's
1548. At the beginning, more south, I have found markers 22, 23, 24, 25.
So those are in sequence. So those aren't, some are thrown and cast away, and some are probably the original. So it's, it's really hard to say, but it seems as though we've got a combination of discarded headstones and real graves here. It's just willy-nilly, a big mess. So is this Sauganash or is this Chicago?
We are still technically in Chicago, but these homes, this
look at this right at my feet
or whatever,
here.
it's called the Sauganash Woods.
Sauganash Woods, wow.
And according to the sources, there are 81 single-family homes.
Well, we can't accuse the developers, but we can ask what you have to wonder. You really have to wonder.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
And then really to get back here and survey this would take days.
Yeah.
I mean, machete action and some type of threshing, because it gets impenetrable back here.
So there's more graves even closer to the, right in these people's, against their backyard.
And really from Google Earth, you can kind of see,
you have to wonder,
more just from Google Earth.
So you have to wonder if probably these people's houses are built over, well, either former graves, probably, hopefully they're, I don't want to show the houses really good. So anyway, there's even more going back in there, huh? Okay, so
you see how the markers say 12 and then over there was 13?
Yeah,
as far back here as I was able to get, I found markers up to 1700.
Wow. Yeah, let's, where did you, that's a big headstone over there.
Yeah.
Let me take a look at that. Huh. That's a massive headstone.
Oh my goodness, look at me.
Yeah, I know, I'm covered with those things too. All those burrs. Is there a name on that headstone?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. Oh, look at that. Just forgotten. 1887.
1920. Yeah, they're all between 1920 and 1930.
There's a bunch of people back here, or refuse headstones just thrown in the woods. You know what's sad is this is somebody who lived and they spent money on this tombstone, and somebody just either, well, you can't say that they're thrown back here. I mean, this is probably a lost cemetery and the people are buried here.
It's just been forgotten about.
Just forgotten.
Now you have Bachelor's Grove,
but we don't know.
That gets all that attention, and that's 450 graves.
Yeah.
I'm figuring there's at least 100 back here.
Yeah.
With my own eyes, I've seen at least 40, 50 headstones.
Okay, so here is a good example. This is absolutely not normal that you would have these block or section markers, you know, one here and then 2.5 feet across you have another one, and then over here there's another one. So this has been a rough,
and then a foundation.
Yeah, well,
Maybe
yeah,
even a
it
headstone.
could be. It just seems to me that at the very least this is a refuse area where they just dump things from the cemetery. Who knows who did it, but there's no way that these are original placements for these markers. Now, as far as the headstones, we can't say if these are actual graves or not, but you know, you have to wonder just the way they're like this is a good example how they're just like somebody just threw them in here. But you know, you can't say, you know, they could be, it's abandoned, there could be people buried here. So Britton, tell the story that you say that in these woods right here is where a Gacy accomplice hung himself.
Sure. His name was David Cram.
What happened?
Well, Mr. David Cram had worked for one of John Gacy's companies in the 70s, and you know, Gacy's demographic of victims were all like 20 to 16, 17-year-old boys that he would have. This guy, David Cram, was like a recruiter. He was one of his workers, and he went around the arcades and the parks and just recruited, you know, local youth to help. And there was just a lot of mysterious stuff behind Cram. Cram one day just decides that he's had enough, and he had got fired by John Gacy, so he called the detectives, who at the time were already trailing Gacy. They already thought that they had enough, and they
this
were
is very late.
Yeah, Cram came, and whatever he told the police that day, they went, arrested Gacy, were led down to the crawl space. Mr. Cram from that point gets some type of immunity, and you know, the rest is history, but the rest is not history. Mr. Cram lived with guilt and was a recluse for the remainder of his days, and in the spring of 2001, he was found hanged out here.
Wow, from a tree, huh?
Yeah.
Now, do you think it was suicide or murder?
You know, they say that around where his body was discovered, there was evidence that he had been camping out there for a while, and but you know, who knows? He was found hanged, and he took all those secrets with him that he had.
The Gacy secrets. Wow.
And supposedly this was some type of special spot to him and all his friends. They were involved in the occult, and
oh, really?
Yeah, this is the hot spot also for all of that.
So a lot of occultists come back here that know about these graves here.
Every year the forest police find sacrificed animals. And
back here?
Yeah, a little bit more south too, by one of the headstones, I found evidence of an altar, definitely a bonfire or something there setting back here.
Yeah.
How you'd be able to with you know, with the houses right there.
Yeah, how you could get away with that. So Satan worship.
Yep.
Lots of bad stuff here. Okay, and there's another murder story you were talking about?
Yeah, 1967.
Right.
14-year-old young lady named Cynthia Lubeznik. She was a freshman at Mather High School.
Right.
She was last seen alive Friday evening, hitchhiking up California.
Okay.
Her body was discovered just south of here where the river takes its bend, and there's actually a bridge over what these old railroad tracks were.
So she was murdered and her body was left. Was she murdered back here, you think?
The assailant, who I will not mention his name, he is since deceased. Anybody that digs into this case and looks it up online, you can, you know, after 1967, he was sentenced to, I think he got like a 50 or 60 year sentence. 3 or 4 times between 05 and 15, he went up for parole. And
did he shoot her, hang her, strangle her?
He strangled her.
Strangled her.
Raped her and strangled her in his car on Bryn Mawr here, dragged her through the woods, threw her in the river. He noticed that she was still moving when he threw her in the water, and he went and he crushed her head into the
oh, brother.
her that way.
This is a bad place.
Yeah.
This has bad karma, man.
Well, the man is since deceased. He did not get granted parole, thankfully. The stories are all there. His testimony, though, during one of his parole hearings, he goes into detail on the events of that night. He was actually a friend of her family, too. That was the most...
oh,
that
brother.
was gut-wrenching. Yeah.
That's what they say. A lot of times the murderers are close to the family or close to the victim.
Yeah.
Look at that. There's another one. They are all over the place.
Wow, we got one in real good shape here, sir.
Let's see.
I have not seen
Oh my gosh, look at this.
new every time.
There's a bunch. This is a massive cemetery. Remains.
Mr. Shabbat.
Mr. Shabbat. Let's see. Oh, that's died in 1925. AA of S and ERE of America, whatever that is. We'll try to.
My source told me that it was a streetcar.
Streetcars?
Yeah, streetcar repair, streetcar drivers. This is Shabbat, and then Schoberth. This is very similar to that last name we found over there. Again, now two 1700s we're getting into,
Yeah.
which kind of gets it out of sequence, but
Yeah, I think these are just discarded. Probably from,
probably from where those homes are sitting, huh?
well, you don't know, but
No assumptions there.
you wonder. Can't make any accusations.
We'll get to the bottom of it,
Look
though.
at this.
Chi riposa, Paolo.
Wow. Again, 1925. A lot of 1925 deaths here.
Mm-hmm.
And that says PRO. Same thing. And it says Malia.
Now let's a foundation with a headstone. You know what was left of it. And this,
Yeah.
was it just discarded? Has this been here since 1925? Mysteries.
Look at this. More tombstones, just haphazard. So you look at this, and these things have been kicked around or moved. There's no way this is the original location of these stones. So you wonder.
Miss Fenna Salmon. Her tender devotion
Here's a mother.
will ever linger as our dearest memory.
Wow.
1872, 1824. She was too young.
There's
48
another one
years
right
old?
there. Look at that. Just a mess back here.
And then we got a baseball.
So sad. This is so sad. These people are completely forgotten. At the very best, they're forgotten.
Yeah.
The worst is they may have been buried somewhere else.
Yeah.
Buried in the coffins, you're part of the earth. Well, 1925, they had caskets going, but it was kind of, I believe, a combination caskets and coffins. But if you're in a coffin, wooden coffin buried, 100 years later, you are part of Mother Earth.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, if you're going to build on that land, how is it even possible to relocate somebody?
Another one.
It's not possible. There's another one. Look at this.
German. Can't make out a name. It's 31st of December.
Yeah, definitely a German guest.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, it just keeps going, doesn't it?
Yeah, it keeps going, but it really is a blockade right here with this tree that's fallen. And from
Right.
where this tree is, I have only found about 10 more
Okay.
going back.
that way.
But going all the way back to the houses, basically.
Okay. Okay, so you were saying the owner of the cemetery was a guy named Amos Snell?
Mr. Amos Snell.
So what
Yeah.
happened to him?
And we're going back to the 1860s. Well, Mr. Amos Snell, he made his money off of creating a toll booth system.
Oh, he's the guy.
Yeah, and he had a toll booth on Elston,
Uh-huh.
and then he had a toll booth on Milwaukee, which technically made him the owner of Elston Avenue and Milwaukee.
Okay.
As far as what I read, it said that the man was known as the owner of Elston and Milwaukee. Elston was a trade route that was kind of built early 1800, but Milwaukee Avenue has been like an Indian Trail road for generations.
So you said he owned the cemetery,
Yeah,
and
he
then
owned the cemetery.
something happened to him?
Well, he had a brother. The ghost story tied into this part of the woods is Mr. Snell, shortly after coming here and establishing himself good, getting everything going, he had a brother who was slow, handicapped. It doesn't really say what the brother's disabilities were, but he had a disabled brother named Bastian.
Okay.
Bastian Snell. But as the story goes, Snell kind of sent his brother out here to keep him out of his way.
Right.
One day, something with the money, something with the count at the toll came up missing, and Mr. Snell fired his brother.
Okay.
He was no longer entrusted to keep track. From that point, they claim that he just cut the brother off.
Okay.
And the legend is that the brother died. The brother lived in a cabin here in these woods, but he would walk every day to his post over at Lawrence and Elston. Ghost story goes, you can see the man traveling, but the brother disappears. He was never seen from or heard from again. Between 1880 and 1885, Bastian Snell disappears somewhere in these woods.
Okay, and then his brother Amos.
And then his brother Amos. Murdered? Yeah, he was murdered in February of 1888. It was a sensational case. Amos had a big posh mansion, which was over by where Union Park is now.
Right.
Amos was murdered. Amos was murdered in his sleep. It's quite a crazy tale, which
was
turned
he
into
shot, or?
Yeah, he was shot. He was shot numerous times.
Okay.
His housekeepers found him the next morning.
And I did an episode. You say he's buried at Rose Hill by the Egyptian, by the pond.
Yeah. Right behind Darius Miller.
Darius Miller, yeah.
Big Snell. It's an obelisk.
Oh, so that's him.
Yeah.
And so Snell owned this. All this land.
Snell had a lot of enemies in life, though, just because of his trade. It was, the suspects. They ended up catching one of the suspects in his murder in Anchorage, Alaska, or something like that, in a gold mining camp, like 10 years later.
Yeah.
And then I think he was not really brought to justice; that he perished out there.
Okay.
But it is still technically in the books an unsolved murder. Even though there were a list of suspects, there was like a $2,000 reward for one of them.
Okay.
Which, like a few years later, of course, 2000, someone found him in Alaska. But yeah, Snell Snell died with just one son and one son-in-law. The son dies young under mysterious circumstances. The son-in-law dies bankrupt.
All right, so we're just heading out of here. I wonder what, are these doors to a mausoleum? I wonder what this is. Look at this, just like refuse. Just like refuse. Unbelievable. You want stickers? Look at that. I am covered with these little guys. All right, let's get out of here. More remnants here.
We forgot to say we're in when we crossed over the fence. Next time.
All right. Look at all this refuse from graveyard or cemetery. We were in and now we're out.
Yeah. And my buddy told me, even though we didn't have enough courage to venture off into this, because this is even more formidable and not at all been paved or path. The house ends right here. My buddy said about 100 feet behind where that house line ends, there are more graves on this side.
Okay. All right, we're gonna wrap it up here from Saguenay or Chicago, not sure. Say bye to Britain. Thanks for taking us back here.
Much love, guys.
Catch you later. Stay safe.